say flow fire, flow fire, flow fire. Feed your soul, women of fire, achieving goals. Women of fire, learn control. Women of fire, shine and grow with flow fire.
Yes, I want to introduce you, a first mover with a vision of mass communication to invoke, educate, and inspire. Inspired by God, this amazing Haitian Black woman continues to fertilize and empower all women. Come on, I
Yeah.
love it. That's you, Miss
I
Maureen.
love that. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So well deserved. I know you've been doing so many things in your life, and one of the things that I definitely admire is that you're always innovative and changing with the times and moving things forward, doing what you need to do, to make sure that your vision comes out. So tell us about your brand.
I can start with my production company, which is 1218 Media. And a lot of people realize it after the fact, but 1218 is my birth date. So 12 for the month and 18 for the day. And I created 1218 Media because I didn't want to take on clients and projects without having a team. But really, I started the production company because of my series, My Life Offline. So it was my first digital series, which featured 3 of the top natural hair vloggers. And that series won its first festival win from the Harlem International Film Festival, which is cool. I did a digital show before that. So the first digital show that I did was called Comida Caliente, and I EP'd it, executive produced it with Stephanie Varr, who's a very good friend of mine. She had a cooking show with her mom and her sisters, and I was like, she had shared it with me, and I was like, I can produce this. Let's get back and do it over. And we decided to raise funds via Kickstarter. And we raised $10,000. We created 8 episodes or webisodes, and that was sponsored by Goya. They were just an in-kind sponsor, and they were featured on the front page of the Houston Chronicle and on the cooking section, and then they were also interviewed by CBS Radio. Wow. So that was a proud moment for us. Like, we really decided that we wanted to do things. And I'm the type of person that if I have a vision for something, I don't sit on it, I start executing. And then my line is that, inspired by God, executed by faith, because sometimes you have no idea how you're going to do this thing, And I'll tell you a story. When I was filming My Life Offline, so I tell you about Comida Caliente as the first digital show, and I used my payment as executive producer to put that towards creating My Life Offline. So my payment as EP went into creating My Life Offline, and directly after filming Comida Caliente in Houston, I had already gotten talent for My Life Offline. We started doing some filming in New York, and then I went into Atlanta, Chicago.
I remember, yes.
And then Mississippi. And so here's the story, when we talk about executing by faith. I stayed with you for, I think, about a week, because at first I was at a hotel, and then I stayed with you, right, and your family, and that was fun. And the last day that I was packing, I had no money left. I had no money. I had a flight that was already booked, and I had enough money to rent a car. And so I'm packing on the floor. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do when I go to Mississippi, because it was me and my DP, director of photography, and he went back home, and then he was going to be traveling into Mississippi, and I was traveling from Chicago to Mississippi. And I was like, well, maybe I can rent a car and sleep in the car and figure it out.
You never told me that.
So I'm packing, and I texted a mentor of mine. So that up the block from where I live, because Flo and I go back, y'all. So
yeah.
So
on the Boulevard of Living.
Back on the Queens. So we go way back, and up the block from where I live, where I grew up, there's a school, and it's called Cambria Center for the Gifted Child. It's owned and operated and directed by Sherry Palmer. And that was the first job that I ever worked at. But she became my mentor. And I texted her and asked her if she could invest in the series. And I had texted her like a couple of weeks back before I had even gotten into Chicago. And so I while I was packing, I went onto my phone into the Bible app. And there was something that said, like, I can't remember exactly, but something about God will provide, right? And so then I put it down. I just read, it was the word of the day. I read that, I put it down, and I went back to packing. Next thing I know, I get a text. Like, literally like 5 minutes later, I got a text that said, so sorry, just deposited $5,000 into your account.
I just got like goosebumps.
Look at God.
Look at God. And won't he do it? Everybody says that.
Won't he do it?
I mean, he will definitely provide. Oh my God, what a blessing.
Yes. So I was able to like go to Mississippi and successfully film the last talent that was on the series, which was Chime Edwards. And when I was leaving Mississippi, I remember looking out the window on the plane and thinking, man, God really got me through this.
Yes.
And one more thing, right?
Yes.
So while I was in Houston, I had made calls to other sponsors. I made like 5 calls. Like one was Curls. And I don't know if you know Maisha Dillinger, but she had a show on OWN. And I spoke to Carol's daughter, and maybe like another 2, but the last call that I had, or the third call, was Aunt Jackie's. And I found Aunt Jackie's when I went to like a random beauty store in Manhattan. And I was like, I don't know this brand, but whatever. I was like always doing homework, taking pictures on my phone and, you know, putting it away so that I could potentially contact people because they're potential sponsors.
Right.
And when I got back to New York, they gave me a check for $10,000. And this was for post-production, because you need funding to do certain things. And I needed funding for this project. And now, when they gave me the funding at the time, I didn't have anything to share with them except for a document that I put together, which I call a one sheet. And it was basically summarizing what the series was about and who the talent was that was attached. That's all I had. There were tiers that they could have chosen from to sponsor. So, you know, you have your first tier, second tier, third tier, and they chose that tier. And under that tier, you say, you know, what will come with this tier, you know, and then if they decide on that, and they did.
That's a great thing. And you inspired me, because till this day, I'm always the best singer I know is Maureen.
I was going to tell you that I remember when I turned 30 and I was coming back from Sacred Heart Church. And I remember I was driving back home and I started crying because I was like, God, is this something that you want me to do? Because I hadn't made it. and I was pursuing it hard. And at that point, I was a solo artist. And I was like, and I knew my voice. I had to learn to accept my voice and to really learn how to make it beautiful in its own tone. You know, like I had to always realize that I'm not going to sing like this person. I'm not going to sing like that person. I have to be able to accept what I have and master that. Right. Yeah. But anyway, I was like really pursuing it hard. And I was like, God, is this what you want me to do? Because if you don't want me to do it, I won't do it anymore. Just let me know. And then I started producing the M Spot.
Yeah.
Which was, you know, I would put artists on the spot. Artists from the tri-state area would come perform 3 or 4 of their original songs. And then they would have to show and prove, you know. I put them on the spot. If you say you're a singer or a rapper, then come up with a song on the spot. So the M was for Maureen. So that was M Spot. And that's how I got into producing. And then when I was doing this digital series, which was similar to, I'm dating myself, AOL Sessions, but it was similar to that. And I was like, oh, this is what producing is. This is cool. I like it. And I really enjoyed producing. So then I started doing like little projects, like film projects and some like people that needed just regular video content. I started working on all of these like little different things and getting my feet wet. And I decided like, this is what I want to do. I enjoy producing. You can't really listen to what people say
Yeah.
You have to really push yourself and believe in yourself and go hard and go after it. And also, if you have help, get help.
Kudos on your parents, because there are not a lot of supportive parents, not because they don't want to be, but I think sometimes they're scared and they think they know better and they want you not to struggle. So the fact that your
Mm-hmm.
parents were able to say, you know what, Mo, if being an entrepreneur is something that you want to do, we support you. That is like incredible foundation.
Everybody say flow fire, flow fire, flow fire.
Okay, I got
Everybody
you.
say flow fire, flow fire, flow fire.